What's up, guys? Coach Erica here, and I am coming at you with a Trainer Tip Tuesday. So today we're going to be talking about squat variations. So you've basically got two different styles of squatting. You have your standard squat, and then you have a sumo squat. Now, let's break both of those down. The standard squat is what you would typically see most people do, what you typically would think of as a squat. Now, the way you want to set this up is you want your feet to be about hip width apart. So you want a little bit of distance. Now, the way you turn your feet actually dictates which muscle groups you're working. If you're wanting to activate your quads, your toes are going to be facing forward. When you turn them out ever so slightly, you start to fire up more of the outside of the legs and the glutes. Now, standard squatting typically is with those toes facing forward. That is the breakdown number one of a standard squat. The second style of squatting is a sumo. So your feet are wider than hip width apart. Your toes are actually going to be facing outward. You're going to feel this in the outside of your glutes and on the insides of your thighs. Now, let's talk about the different positionings to make these squats the most effective. So on a standard squat, when you are setting up your squat, again, you want to make sure your feet are about hip width apart and that your toes are facing forward. The weight is going to stay in your heels. The way you should think about this is sitting down in a chair. You want to slide those shoulders down and back, so you want a really good posture. You want to keep your chest up, keep everything locked into place. Think about standing up tall and proper. Also, if you have a mirror, if there's a logo on your shirt, you should be able to see the logo as you're sitting back and down. That's going to help you be able to keep your chest up. So in this standard squat, again, weight stays in your heels. You're going to drop back and then down. Now, not everybody has great range of motion. That's okay. When you start squatting down and your heels are coming up, that's your range of motion. You don't want to go any lower. The weight should always stay in your heels in order to activate the quads. So again, you're going to drop down and back. Only go as low as you can to where those feet don't come off the floor. You're going to keep those quads loaded up. Drive through the heels. So you're going to feel most of the weight in your heels. Drive and stand and squeeze the glutes. Now, if it's weighted, you can hold your weights here at your shoulders. You can hold your weights here. You can hold your weights here. However is comfortable as far as holding the weights for you. However, bodyweight squats work just fine. Now, let's break down the sumo and the difference between a sumo squat and a regular squat. So in a sumo squat, again, I told you, your feet are out wider. The difference with this is you want to act like your back is sliding down a wall. Same exact positioning. You want to have that chest up, those shoulders down and back, lock them into place, but here's the difference. When you bring those feet out nice and wide, your glutes are going to drop straight down. Instead of going back and down like you did in the standard squat, your glutes are going to drop straight down. Notice that my back is nice and flat. My knees are tracking over my toes. Let me turn to the front and do this. So my knees are going to track over my toes. I'm going to feel it here and in the back of my booty. So squeeze the inner thigh and squeeze the outside of the thigh as if you were pulling yourself up. That's going to activate all of those muscles. It's going to feel completely different. If you're in a sumo squat and you're hinging forward and you're doing this, you're not activating the outside of your booty. In fact, you're actually hurting your knees. It can start putting stress on joints that don't need to have stress on them. So you're going to drop the glutes straight down versus down and back. Keep the down and back for a standard squat where your feet are hip width apart. Those toes are facing forward. You drop down, keeping the weight in the heels. There is a little bit of a hinge in those hips, and you stand back up. So with the sumo, again, you can hold your weights however you see fit. You can load them up at your shoulders. You can hold it here, and you can also do what's called a goblet sumo. It's one of my favorites. So anytime you hear squat, think about all the different variations there are. If you have questions on this or questions about any other exercise, reach out to me. Happy to help you. Happy Tuesday.